We'll let it stop. There it is. I know it starts before I get on here, but it takes a little bit of time for it to load on the screen. Good morning, everybody. Jim Adkins here from Adkins Results Coaching in 26 Days of You. And this morning, I wanted to get on here and talk to you. And then when I started to jump on here and discuss some things, my head went, let's talk about something fun. Seems like for the last few days when I get on here, I'm solving problems or giving my opinion about issues. And it's because that's what's coming into my life. And I think the more it comes into your life through the friends that you're helping and the clients that you're helping, or me anyway, it becomes relevant and I want to share. And I hope it helps. But today I thought, I'm just going to let that go because it just seems that it weighs me down at times. I love helping people. I really do. That's what I'm about. But the more I focus on it, the more I see. We talk about the reticular activating system quite often. And it's one of those things. So today I thought, what can I do to help in another area? And we have talked a lot about improving our lives, making things better and moving forward and making changes. Excuse me. And I wanted to point something out to you real quick, that sometimes if you're looking for a change, it doesn't always have to come from quitting everything that you're doing or starting a whole new this or a whole new that. You can actually change where you're at. And for instance, in my position, you get to a point in your career or your life where you feel a little stagnant or there's not a lot of growth. And growth is really what you want to continue to have. Without growth, there's no real fulfillment, right? And we all feel that at times. So you look outwardly to make changes, and you look outwardly for new things to do, or maybe I'm not doing the right thing in my career, my job, my hobby, whatever, and I want something new. Here's another way to look at it. Why not just become the best at what you're good at? Make a change that way. So in that process, a couple of times in my life, I've decided, well, as a martial artist, what are the traits of a martial artist that I can't say most people, because the idea of a martial artist these days has been skewed by a bunch of nonsense and people that think they're more. Anyway, so anyway, what are the traits of a martial artist that most people look for when they go to study martial arts? Well, confidence is one of them. Confidence is something that a lot of people would desire and actually say they don't have a lot of, when really you could probably have more than you want or more than you know. And there are simple ways to develop it or build it. So I thought I'd give you, and I wrote down a couple of tips here on how to develop and build confidence in yourself. And I thought I'd throw those at you real quick, see how you felt, and move on today. And then we'll talk again on Friday. So number one, like anything, it's easier for most people to reflect on how not to do something or who they're not, as opposed to who they are and how to. Okay. So here is a takeaway that will help build towards, okay? Kill the negative thoughts. Stop thinking negatively about yourself. I know it sounds easy for me to say that, but if you want to build confidence, stop talking down to yourself. Stop telling, I can never do that, or that's for somebody else, or I've never been that person, or I'm too embarrassed to do things like that. That negative talk will hold you back and create and build lack of self-confidence. Now, would you ever talk to a friend you were trying to help that way? Say a friend came to you and said, I really want to do this. This really means the world to me. I've always wanted to try this, that, or the other thing, or feel this way, and you go, no, you suck. Don't ever do that. Would you do that to your friend? Well, don't do it to yourself. So stop the negative talk. That would be number one on how you can start creating more confidence in your life. Number two, get to know yourself. What do you really like? What do you really have to offer? Once you stop the negative talk and you start talking about some of the wonderful things that you've already accomplished, some of the things you really want to accomplish and why you want to accomplish those and how they fit with who you are, the better you know yourself and the more reason you give to want to do something, the more power will pull you toward it, and confidence will become the number one key. And I'll say that for a minute, but the more you know yourself, the more you're going to get toward this key. Okay, number three, change your body language. If anybody slopes their shoulders enough and looks down enough, you can change the way you feel right now. And there's a fun thing that I've done to people. Um, the superhero pose where you stand up and put your hands on your hips and you stand up really tall. We did this last night in class, and you stand there for 30 seconds in that superhero pose, and it makes you feel more confident. So changing your body language is one way to create confidence. Now, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and we'll get there in a minute. And body language is one of those things that can push you over the edge. Self-talk is another thing, and the way you treat others. Okay, but we'll get back to that in a minute. So confidence, get to know yourself, stop the negative talk, and change your body language. Not just the words you say, but how you stand up, how you hold yourself, your facial expressions. Smile every once in a while. They'll do that. All right. So practice self-care would be number 5. Self-care. A lot of people tie their confidence to how other people see them or how they feel other people think about them. And I heard a quote, and I'm going to have to paraphrase the quote because I didn't write it down, but I'll find it for you. See if I remember. Basically, it said, my self-esteem doesn't rely 1 ounce on how you feel about me or what you think about me. And I love that quote. And it's a little bit, in your face, but realistically, if you think about it, that's the truth. You shouldn't care what other people think about you. We're going to touch on that for a minute, but you really, how you feel about yourself should not come from others. And that comes from practicing self-care, your self-talk, your posturing, and all that kind of stuff. This is how you develop confidence. So confidence in yourself, what you believe, the stronger you know yourself, the more you know about how you would react in certain situations, how you make your decisions, what you base your morals, your ethics on. Those are things, the more you know about them, the more confident you become. Again, I'm going to touch on this before I leave, the difference between confidence and arrogance, because it is a fine line. Okay, we'll come back to that. And then there's another one, create a positive support network. The people you surround yourself with, that's who you become, right? We've said that before. And if you've got people who constantly put you down, you've got a friend who just will not let you rise to the top. Why? They need to be the best. They need to be stronger and tougher and smarter, and they know everything and they can do everything. And in their circle, you can't rise to the top. Cut that loose. You're supporting something that is not positive for you, maybe positive for them, but in the midst, that person may be holding you down because of their actions. Now, if you sought that person out because of their seemingly abundant confidence, the fine line between confidence and arrogance may have been crossed. Or it's just not a healthy confidence. Okay. And what I mean by that is if they're not helping you, their confidence has got to the point where it tipped the boundaries of self-gratification versus helping other people. And we can talk about that some other time too. So create a positive network, practice self-care, get to know yourself, change your body language, and stop the negative talk. The number one thing that will help you create confidence, action. Do it. Just do it. Now, know what you're doing first, okay? That doesn't mean you have to be an expert, but don't just jump off the cliff or don't just step onto the fire because you want to firewalk. That's not what I'm talking about. If you want to try, let's say you wanted to approach this person because you're very intrigued or interested in them or what they do, and you're just kind of intimidated and you really don't have the confidence. What would they like about you? Why would they even want to talk to you? That kind of stuff. If that person's not harmful and approaching them and the fear of approaching them is nothing but self-imposed, just do it. Just do it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to tell you no, they're going to shoot you down, they're going to ignore you. Then they're probably not the person you want to meet anyway. You were probably wrong about how they could help you, right? So that's the worst that's going to happen. Do it. Have at it. Just do it. And the more you take action, the more you're capable of making a decision based on who you are, the more confident you will become. It's practice. It doesn't come the other way around. You don't get the reason and the motivation and the purpose, and then take action and then become confident. That's not how it happens. Or you don't sit around and talk yourself into confidence and then you become confident and then you take action. It's easier to take the action, learn to fail, move forward, and figure out that, I learned every time, and the more confident you will become that way. So that's the number one thing. Okay. I'm going to jump off of here. We're doing about 10 minutes, but real quick, I do want to touch on the difference between confidence and arrogance, because there's a fine line. The simple difference between confidence and arrogance is the ability to back it up and the love for others. Okay. When you're confident in your abilities, you generally don't have to go out and push it on other people. If you're confident with what you know, who you are, how you feel, your decision-making skills, and then listen, this is a growth process. It continually builds. It's not something you're going to have overnight and it's just going to stay this little nice tight package. It grows, it ebbs and flows. Once you become confident, you don't need to push that on other people and let them know just how good you are or how much better you are than they are. It's not. So remember to come from a position of love and help, and be confident that what you're doing is for you. In the process of, now, don't be selfish, but in the process of helping yourself, you will be able to help others. And that would be confidence. All right. I hope that helped. If you have more tips for people or a story about how you had the lack of confidence and you stepped up and did it anyway, and now you've changed your life, I'd like to hear that. If you like the videos that we're doing here, give me the thumbs up. It helps out a lot. If you haven't become a subscriber already, subscribe. If you know somebody that would enjoy these, ask them to subscribe too. And until we meet again, I love you. Have a great day. And on your mark, get set, grow.